what's going on, man? It's your boy, Dan Diddy.
Ambitious Ace.
Bang, bang, boomerang.
Yeah, man, and we doing the top 10 video game series. Our favorite top 10 video game series. Yours are not in order, Ace. Ambitious Aces are not in order. Bang, bang, are yours in order?
Not even close.
Not even close. So I'm the only person that got mine in order, which is perfectly fine. I have no problem with that. Guess we'll start off with number 10. I just want to say, man, there's some series that didn't make my list that are really near and dear to my heart, man. Shout out to all the video game developers out here.
Oh, yeah.
But with that said, man, I'll start it off. Number 10 on my list, man, I'm going with the Call of Duty series. I feel like that they somewhat revolutionized the shooting platform of video gaming. If I really want to give credit to somebody, it would be the creators of 007.
Okay,
And
I was about to say, you better give them credit.
They were the ones that pretty much kicked this whole thing off, but Call of Duty kind of came in and helped reimagine it for me in the next generation of gaming when it came out on 360 and PS3. So that was a big deal. And Call of Duty, whether I've purchased it or not, has been a pretty hard staple, and they make solid multiplayer games, everything except for Infinity Warfare.
Well, I mean, I can just pick one off my list to counter that claim about first person shooters. I feel like Halo is one of the franchises that revolutionized first person shooters because they took the narrative of a single player campaign and made it such a cinematic experience. Especially, I'm speaking for Halo 1 through 4. Because those are the ones that I feel like are the greatest. I don't pay attention to 5, sorry. But especially Halo 1 through 3. I feel like, they jump-started the wave of first-person games, especially with Halo 2 with multiplayer. They was the first really big multiplayer first-person shooter.
That's a good point.
You gotta put respect where it's due. Xbox, even the first Halo, they didn't have online. They had the LAN parties. Nobody did LAN parties like Halo did. And Halo 2 revolutionized the whole online experience and everything like that. And Halo 3 capitalized off of that. So I've had a lot of memories with Halo, and a lot of them are for the online aspect of it. So, but Call of Duty's still there. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
But Halo, they got them stake in that claim.
Well, I'm gonna challenge both of you guys.
Ooh.
I'm going Twisted Metal.
I feel that.
I mean, that's guns with cars. They the first to ever do that.
Successful ever since.
Nobody's tried to bring that back either.
Yo, they started the game, then they closed it out. They the only one that played the game. Nobody else is on the court.
Well, that destruction game might bring it back if it's successful.
That's a big if.
Yeah.
But I say Twisted Metal's been solid. That game right there was the neighborhood game. You know what I mean?
You can go anywhere with that game.
What?
Yeah.
When that game came out, you play that with your cousins, your neighbors. Shout out to Twisted Metal.
Bring Twisted Metal back, y'all.
I love Twisted Metal. I've been begging for them to bring Twisted Metal back forever, man. Yeah. But y'all got to bring it back like y'all did Part 2. Don't mess with Part 2 is the best one with the freezing and extra codes that you could put in with the input with the D-pad.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Thumper.
Shout out to Mr. Grimm. No shout out to No Car? You was a sweet tooth dude, wasn't you?
Probably Roadkill.
Roadkill, yeah. Sweet tooth from time to time.
Hammerhead and Mr. Grimm for me. Number 9 on my list, man. This game revolutionized crazes. People going nuts for video games. And I'd say that was Pokemon. The Pokemon series. It started the whole gotta catch them all, gotta do everything in the game possible, trading, all of that. Pokemon is the reason I bought a Game Boy.
Good point.
If it wasn't for Pokemon, I wouldn't have bought that crap. I bought it because of Pokemon, and every single time they came out with a new Pokemon, I bought a new Game Boy to match whatever Pokemon game they came out with. Everybody wanted to trade and catch and fight and battle. I'm talking about I had Pokemon Stadium with stat books and everything. Like I was geeked out with Pokemon. So They messed up in the last couple Pokemon games, in my opinion, which is what reason why I fell out. But it's still a staple series, in my opinion.
Since we on that tip, then I'm gonna kick it with Mario, man. Now, I couldn't figure out if I wanted to go like Super Mario or Mario Kart. So I'm just saying Mario as a whole, because Mario kicked off a lot of franchises and everything like that. So Mario, everybody knows Mario.
Oh yeah.
I just gotta point it out that yours are not in order.
Yeah, it's not in order. I told you I'm not doing order. I'm just sticking on what your topic going on. But yeah, what can I say? I mean, we have various iterations of Mario games that have done tremendously well over the past, entire history of gaming?
35 years.
Solid.
35 years.
So if I was ranking these, Mario will be definitely close to the top. I mean, because it's inevitable. There's no way you can talk about gaming and not talk about Mario. So yeah.
I love Mario as well. But when I think of Mario, I think of Mario, Sonic, and then Crash Bandicoot.
Okay.
I love Crash Bandicoot. I think, to me, I don't think there's a bad Crash Bandicoot game. That's just how I feel.
You about to get the new one?
For sure. For sure. I remember playing missions where I can play with my eyes closed. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Crash Bandicoot. I think they have one of the top series. And when you go behind the scenes and they talked about all the things they did, they were the first to do a lot of things with that particular game. I think that was a launch for PlayStation. And I think they took PlayStation to the top with that game.
Okay. Next on my list, man, it started the revolution of difficult video games, finding games with people having weaknesses and things of that nature. I'm going with the Mega Man series.
Okay.
Mega Man games are the epitome of difficult. There are people today that are grown-ass men that still can't beat Mega Man Part 1. And I'm one of them. All right? Mega Man 1 is hard as hell.
They are hard.
It's difficult, and, like, it made you find the weaknesses of the enemies. Like, there was no game before where you had to find the weakness. Before that, you just fought people and beat them, win. No, you had to find the weakness, or else you was going to have hell trying to beat whatever enemy you were trying to fight. All of the Mega Man games are pretty difficult, so I love the Mega Man series. They messed up on a couple of the X's, but all the numbered, like 1 through 10 numbers, they're all really solid. X1, 2, and I think 3 were good.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, you can save a Mega Man.
In the first number 1, you can't save. I think number 2 they introduced
the codes.
The codes.
Yeah, and that was the thing for me.
If not number 2, it was definitely number 3.
Because that was the thing that always made it hard for me. It was just like I could never beat this game in one sitting.
Oh no, impossible.
Yeah. I'm kicking it with Zelda next, man. Zelda is iconic.
That's a good one.
All the way back to the NES to the Switch now. I feel like, that has been one game that has just marked its place in history. From the difficulty to different boss types and the open worldness of the beginning of the games to the complete open worldness of what we got now with Breath of the Wild. They've always, stuck to the same formula, but always figured out to make it a fresh new experience, even though familiar, and just a remarkable series.
Dope. Y'all don't judge me.
Let's go.
I'm gonna go Sims. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? I would not be disappointed in that.
Yo, shout out to Sims.
Yeah.
They created their own language. There has to be one of the few games that had their own language.
You're right, though.
It's something. Real life is boring, but somehow Sims made that joint fun.
Real life is boring.
I didn't wash dishes in real life.
But I made my sim wash dishes.
You had to do that?
I better not see no dishes unclean. I got to take out that trash.
Yo, when that food catch on fire, it's a wrap. And yo, they've been so consistent with their franchises. They introduce aliens. You can get kids. I don't even know what they can do now. You can probably be on Mars. It's a lot.
Star Wars about to come to Sims.
Insane, man. Shout out to Sims, man. That's on my list right now.
I like that pick.
Damn. Number 7 on my list, man. Like I said, mine are in order, okay? Number 7 on my list. This game series, in my opinion, modernized the modern fighting game and gave us actual storylines in video games and fighting games, and not just fighting up a tower. And I'd say that would be the NETHERREALM Studios, Mortal Kombat, and Injustice video games.
Wow.
They've killed, like, the fact that they introduced story modes where you have to go through, there's actual cinematics, and you have to learn how to use multiple different characters and stuff. Now you see everybody adding it into all of their fighting games. And then not only that, all of the NETHERREALM Studios, Mortal Kombat, and Injustice games have really, really solid and great mechanics. The graphics are on point. They have some really dope DLC packages. Yeah, they cost too much, but they're all really good.
I have Mortal Kombat on my list as well, but I'll take it even further than that and say that Mortal Kombat kickstarted the whole generation to let you know that games were not just for kids. Mortal Kombat was the first game with blood and gore, and everything like that.
You're talking about every Mortal Kombat.
Every Mortal Kombat, because you know it really, when Street Fighter was big at the time and other games like that, but you know they came in with a damn. They turned with a test. Like, yo, we about to make a game that's not for kids. And, you know, made the whole rating system and everything like that. So it's iconic for me because it really kickstarted a whole next generation of gaming that made a lot of adults take gaming seriously. It wasn't just something, hey, your kid's playing Mortal Kombat. No. You might want to check that out. But yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. Storytelling was superb and everything. They started like really making memorable characters, because you know when you went to fighting games in arcades, there wasn't a lot of memorable characters.
Oh no!
But you knew who Liu Kang was, you knew who Johnny Cage was, you knew who Sonya was.
Scorpion.
Everybody had a story, especially when a cheesy movie came out. But still, the game was still in your head. But hey, shout out to Mortal Kombat.
Hey man, that movie was dope. I was too young to know the
I
difference.
love the movie. I love the movie for its cheesiness. Yeah.
Get over here. I wanted to put Soul Calibur because that's my favorite fighting game on the list. But to be honest, we're talking about franchise, so I'm thinking Street Fighter. Street Fighter, I think, was one of the first to really kick off the fighting game. Yeah. And you know, I like Mortal Kombat, but it's a little spammy. I'm gonna be honest with you. You know what I'm saying?
Street Fighter can be spammy too.
Yeah, don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted.
A little spammy, you know.
False Sagat after when he's ready to whoop your ass and you ain't about to win, or M. Bison.
Oh.
Yeah, Bison nasty with it. You know?
The whole match.
And then you try to get close, he'll do a tiger uppercut, tiger knee.
Okay, good point. All those games back there a little spammy. But Street Fighter, I feel like done a really good job, and even now it's still a big deal in the fighting game community, right? I think Street Fighter 5 is like the thing right now, and that game was so old. Street Fighter versus X-Men versus Street Fighter was my personal favorite fighting game of all time. That was that jump.
Oh,
right?
you mean Marvel's Capcom?
No.
Wait,
it
was there
X-Men versus Street Fighter?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was?
Yeah. X-Men versus Street Fighter. Yeah.
I gotta take it back. That's one of those games I don't remember.
That was that jump. That was probably one of my favorite games of all time. But other than that, you gotta give Street Fighters credit, man. They really did a good job, man. So shout out to Street Fighter.
Next on my list, man, number 6 on my list, I'm gonna go with this legendary character that's had some stumbles and bumps along the way. But had they not had these stumbles and bumps, they'd probably be where the other platforming guy is, and that's Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh,
I love Sonic the Hedgehog. They've had, if you go through the first, 10 years of Sonic was golden, all the way up to Dreamcast, they were on point. Whoever took over after that has messed Sonic up with where you turn into a werewolf and Sonic Colors and Sonic Boom with all the stupid body shapes.
Wait, you can turn into a Sonic?
Yes.
Yeah, you could. You could.
Yes,
yeah.
it was horrible.
Yeah.
All right, you use Shadow and he's using guns. It's like, bro, y'all were trying too much. Just get back to the regular old Sonic the Hedgehog running around, getting rings. That was fire. But hopefully they can turn it back around. But overall, man, Sonic is one of the most legendary characters in video games, and I love his original video games.
Yeah, man, to piggyback off of Bang Bang, Street Fighter was also on my list just because of the legacy that it has created for gaming. I spoke on arcades. Street Fighter was the arcade game for people, man.
Oh, yeah. People
went and played that arcades for days, hours, and whatever. But just to see how far that franchise has come, we're about to go through another generation of that with the next one, since one of the long center producers have just left and everything like that. So it's always interesting for me to see how Street Fighter develops with the times, because even though they tried to stray from they tried the 3D path one time and it really didn't really work, they've always stayed on the 2D front.
Yes.
And they've always been strong on
Because
that front.
3D one.
Yeah, you know. So I think that, you know, how they've been able to keep 2D gaming alive, you know, as far as from the fighting spectrum and everything like that. Because, you know, Soul Calibur, Tekken, and even Mortal Kombat did the 3D thing for a while before they went, you know, that wasn't bad, but they went back to 2D. So it's just like, you know, I feel like Street Fighters has always kept that, you know, we got this 2D gaming playing it on lock.
Yeah.
And, you know, they still adopting to this day.
That 3D Mortal Kombat was cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't Street Fighter. It wasn't Tekken or Soul Calibur, but it was pretty good.
Yeah. For me, what's going on next? You know, I gotta say, there's a few games where people get so invested in the story to where they start sending death threats if you don't bring out a follow-up. I want to say Metal Gear Solid, man. Metal Gear motherfucking Solid. Even from the first one, when you out in that snow and you walking around, you see your footprints, and somebody's like, huh? Who's there? That game's amazing. You can turn into a box.
You can turn into a box.
Right? You got a Kodak. You know what I'm saying? You get to sneak around. That's one of the that was the first game where I started taking gaming really seriously. Where you have to think about a strategy. I gotta sneak around, you know?
It's got the best death reaction. Snake.
What? Yo.
No other game has no crazy reaction to death like that.
Not at all. Not at all.
The chirp was my ringtone. Like, that game is just so iconic. It's amazing. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Metal Gear Solid.
You see Ace getting all excited to join in. You want to go next?
I mean, I could, but, you know, we're going in order.
All right, so look, man, number five, right? Number 5 on my list is none other than that video game that modernized the superhero genre, and that is Batman, the Arkham series. It was the first video game that they put out that made me feel like, man, I actually feel like Batman. Out here fucking shit up, reversing combos, actually wanting me to and I love the fact that the way they intertwine all of the villains interacting with each other and kind of separating themselves off to certain parts of the map, and they had story behind it, and the fact that the Joker is talking you through the whole game and talking shit to you. It is hilarious listening to
so you're talking about Arkham Knight then?
Yeah, the Arkham series.
Okay.
All of them.
Well,
all
you
three
just
of
said
them.
him talking to you, so I thought you was
The whole Arkham series, not the ones that WB Interactive did. The
Arkham
original
Asylum,
Arkham
City, and
Arkham Knight. Just those three. I don't know nothing about Origins or none of that. They killed the stealth aspect, the hopping out of stuff, the whole fighting Mr. Freeze and not being able to use the same move over and over again to cheese the villain. You know what I'm saying? They did so much, and it felt so good every time you floated around the city. They lost me a little bit with the driving around the city in the Batmobile, but aside from that, they killed everything else.
Yeah. Most definitely. Good pick. But I'm about to get back on Metal Gear Solid.
That's all I talk about.
Woo! when you talk about Metal Gear Solid, man, there's a lot of things you can tell about that game. But one thing that really gets me is just the cinematic storytelling. Metal Gear is notoriously known for having an hour of cutscenes.
Yes.
And you know, it's crazy when you think about it, because you can literally beat the whole game in about 4 hours. But to me, it was just always the story that got me into Metal Gear. It was one of the first games that really made me sit down and be invested in what the story was trying to tell. And not only that, the gameplay was phenomenal. The little hidden nods that Kojima would put in the game and stuff like that, little Easter eggs and everything like that. And he was just always up in the ante. Every iteration of Metal Gear, it was something iconic about it, no matter what you could say about it. So Metal Gear just took storytelling as a whole to a whole nother level.
Shout out to that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So my next one is gonna be a game that I always had a hard time beating. New ones and old ones. Tomb Raider.
Okay.
Tomb Raider, man. From the computer age, when you had that very first Tomb Raider, when I played on computer, couldn't beat it. It was too hard. But I think they've been very consistent with that, and I feel like Tomb Raider has spawned some really dope games. Like what Drake is another game that spawned from it. There's another style of game. Oh, you don't think?
Yeah.
They copied, but they made it way better.
I mean, they did make it
And
better.
then Tomb Raider copied them.
Yeah, and got it back.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad they did that. And they did some things as far as with Laura Croft's character that I liked. The newer games are pretty good because they copied Drake.
Oh, they're way better.
Oh, yeah, they're way better. But that's a franchise I kept up with, and I'm proud that they're still going. So shout out.
I just hope those games, the Uncharted and the Tomb Raiders, stop making these characters have the worst day ever.
You ain't lying.
I'm sorry.
That's how you get the greatest gameplay.
Over the top cinematics and stories. Worst day ever for a character. I swear.
Jaguars come out of nowhere.
Exactly. Number 4 on my list, man, iconic video gaming series that had a couple bumps and bruises with trash games, in my opinion, which is going to be very controversial to say. Zelda. The Legend of Zelda, man. They've had some really, really solid games. Ocarina of Time is one of the best video games of all time. Skyward Sword was okay. Wind Waker was cool. I didn't care for the shell shading, but the gameplay of it was actually really on point. I can't speak for the new one, but they've had some really iconic moments. Nobody can touch a link to the past. I just finished beating that again recently.
Dope.
Just to let y'all know, like, that game is iconic. Just the idea of forcing somebody to go to the other side of the map to get something after they collect something, and then you get something like, oh, I know where this goes. It goes over there. Resident Evil stole that whole formula from Legend of Zelda. Get something from here.
Facts.
The next thing is all the way on the other side of the map.
Facts.
Legend of Zelda is iconic. Most people still confuse Zelda and Link. Banish all of you guys to the Dark Realm with Ganon. He will deal with you. And come on, y'all. Zelda is who you're saving. Link is who you're using. Come on, can we at least understand that? But
It is a little confusing.
Yeah, Legend of Zelda is a classic video game, man.
All right, man. I'm going to keep it rolling with the I Have a Bad Day storyline. And Your Rough Day is the greatest day for us gamers. And I'd say the Uncharted series, man. Nathan Drake has been through so much.
Yes, I have.
But one that stands out to me is Uncharted 2, Among Thieves.
Ooh.
Bro, when that joint opened and he was hanging, me and my friend Raj didn't even know the game started. Like, we were both staring at the screen like, yo, these graphics are crazy. And he's like, oh, I'm playing. I'm like, what?
Better tap that circle button.
I'm telling you. I got into Uncharted late because I didn't get PS3 when it came out. Because, $600, I ain't buying that shit. So I came into PS3 relatively late. It was like the last 2 years of its cycle. But I remember that I got all the Uncharted games. Really, it was Uncharted 1, 2, and 3. And I sat for about 1 or 2 weeks playing all 3 of them. And I want to say that even though Uncharted 3 was amazing, Uncharted 2 stands out as one of the most visually impressive, engaging storytelling games of all time.
Yes.
Had some of the greatest action set pieces, some of the greatest gameplay, and
Number 4 was pretty good, too.
of course, but Uncharted 2 will always take the cake for me. But just that whole story, franchise, how they handled the characters, plot, gameplay, just gave us a whole nother, I love how games have evolved into a really fun cinematic experience.
Yeah. When I first played that game, it felt like Tomb Raider injected with like steroids. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just so much better than Tomb Raider. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a perfect game. All right, so I throw an easy one out there. Grand Theft Auto. That was going to be one of my tops. I want to say that one. But Grand Theft Auto series has been so consistent. Vice City is the one I got introduced to. But since Vice City, it's been amazing. I can't wait for the new one to come out. Like, it was just so iconic. It was so eye-opening when everybody, I guess what was that, number 3? when you can first
Oh,
work
yeah.
with prostitutes and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
in school, everybody was talking about like, oh my gosh, I was with a prostitute. You know what I'm saying? I was running people over. Like, that was such a big deal. To the point where they're trying to ban the game. They say Grand Theft Auto was
That
making.
was a rumor.
Okay.
That was not real.
Well,
Whoa.
shoot, they made
It
it
felt
feel
like
real.
it.
Yeah.
Because me and my friends went and bought the
was-
game.
Me too. I bought it before I had a PlayStation 2.
Right?
It was genius.
They were.
One of the GameStop people later on told me, look, they made that lie up so they can sell more games, and it worked.
Well, they were the Eminem of gaming. You know what I'm saying? Just controversial. Like, how are we gonna make people even more mad? And they up the ante. I feel like every year.
Yeah.
They killed it with the radio. The music was amazing. The billboards, when you drive by, the people talking, like, they did so well with it, and they added story modes to it. So shout out to Rockstar with that one.
So, number 3 on my list, man. Iconic character, possibly the most iconic character there is in video games. When people think of this character, they think of video games. Obviously, I'm talking about Mario. Mario's games over the course of the years have been amazing, especially more so recently. There's only a few I can point to that I don't really bang with. I'm talking about the real Mario series, not like the Marios and Rabbids and the Mario parties and all that. I'm talking about like Mario 1, 2, 3, 64, Sunshine, Galaxy 2, Universe. That's all of them pretty much. Galaxy. No, I said Galaxy 2, 1 and 2. The new one on the Switch is Universe, right?
No, it's Odyssey.
Odyssey. There you go. Mario Odyssey. And Mario's been, I didn't even, come to think about it, I never even bothered playing Odyssey. The reason, and that's the reason why Mario's not number 1 on my list. I don't feel anything when I play Mario. I just play Mario. The games are still designed for kids, no emotional investment, but they're fun to play. Always really good mechanically. They always add some really cool elements into it to make you like it. I remember when 64 came out, and I was just like, you get rid of Fire Suit Mario, this joint about to be trash. And it was actually really good. Without Fire Suit Mario, they still managed a way to make it fire. He's just an iconic character. Just a couple misses on games like Mario Sunshine. Maybe I'll play it again on this All-Star version. But solid games all across the board. Mario. Dope.
Yeah, man, I have to pick off Bang Bang, go with GTA. Not for prostitution, but for other reasons.
Legalize prostitution.
Yeah, I
please.
think it's legal.
So you can't lock women up for doing whatever they feel like doing.
So my thing with GTA though is the fact that they kickstarted the whole open world genre.
Yeah, they did.
And they mastered it to a point where a lot of games were inspired. A lot of games that we know and love today.
Nah, we ain't gonna say inspired. They copied.
They super copied.
A lot of games were inspired. Only one that super copied was Saints Row, even though I do like
Oh no,
Saints
they
Row.
super copied. They copied everything. But Spider-Man on the PlayStation that year was just like Grand Theft Auto.
But one thing I want to say that GTA should be known for is its extreme attention to detail. A lot of people don't consider Grand Theft Auto 4 a really good staple in the series, but if you look at all the details that went into that game, as far as the whole driving, just like the details when you're opening the car, the rear view mirror, they had stuff in the dashboard.
You had to hot wire the cars,
and it's just like there is like lists. I remember that game first came out. It was like 180 things you probably didn't know about GTA 4. And when I read it, I'm just like, they did that? They did that? They did that? So I think that's something that Rockstar has always done well. It's not even just gameplay. It's just when it comes down to making their world a living, breathing world, they really make it a living, breathing world. And I think that's why GTA is so iconic, is because he had to give you a playground to do shit that you shouldn't be doing. But at the same time, they create just a universe, a whole city, whatever you want to call it, and it's believable. So I think they should get major kudos for that.
Yeah, you do whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? Especially at the very end, you can do a side mission. You could save the world, but you might want to hit that side mission.
Think about that Keith skit.
Yeah. Which I think is super dope. So My next one is really personal for me. You know, I love this game a lot. Mine is the Final Fantasy franchise. Like my favorite game of all time is Final Fantasy 8, right? That's just period. You know what I'm saying? When my boy Squall walking in.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
We've talked about that before.
I mean, I know about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My boy Squall walking in. You know what I'm saying? See Rihanna for the first time, you know? Happy, stumbling, trying to dance. That scene was just so amazing. And back then I thought I was cool. But yeah, I was nerding out that year. You know what I'm saying? Playing that game nonstop. So a shout out to that franchise. And they're still going. I think there's a new one that's coming out fairly soon.
Well, not soon, but it's gonna be coming up.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
Shit, it's like 4 years.
Yeah,
okay.
about 4 years. We know how Square Enix works.
They be playing too much, but I'm glad they're dropping a new one. I love the franchise. I'm glad they're keeping it going. So shout out.
I mean, I know Tanet liked it. I didn't know it was his favorite number 2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
we
what?
about to have to have some polls, figure out here who actually likes 8 like that. That's
What?
Eight is on my top 5.
With the cards, the trading cards, like come on.
The card game was the best part of that.
Oh
game.
my gosh.
Number 2 on my list, man. Look, I've been playing video games for 35 years.
Shout out.
Very long time.
Make it sound, damn.
Shout
Very long time. I've been playing games. My mom bought me a Nintendo from Korea and sent it. No, she didn't send it. She ended up bringing it over. She didn't want to pay shipping. Either way, we got it. Either way, we got it. And I've been playing video games since that day. I remember playing Jaws. I remember playing Mario over and over again, getting super emotional or losing. Games don't necessarily always make you feel something. Final Fantasy VII made me feel something when Aerith died. I remember being so angry.
Spoiler alert.
If you didn't know that, I feel sorry for you. But the game that's actually probably made me feel the most confused. All of that made me feel every type of emotion under the sun. The Last of Us series. No game in the history of gaming has ever made me feel that much.
Yeah.
The mechanics are so good. The moments in part 1 where like Ellie is she's getting raped and you're trying to crawl before the guy gets up, and then or you think she's about to get raped, and then she's crawling trying to grab the piece of glass and she doesn't make it. Like, how did you feel when that happened? On when you get caught with Dina. And then the guy is beating up Dina, and you're kind of groggy, but you're tied up to the chair, and you're trying to hurry up and get loose. No game makes you feel the urgency in moments in video games like Naughty Dog does with The Last of Us. No video game series, no game made anybody feel as confused about how they should feel about an ending than The Last of Us. It's one of the greatest game series. There's only 2 of them, and I'm putting it at number 2.
Dope.
That's bold. That's really, really bold. Last of Us is a game I want to forget because it put me through a traumatic experience. So that's why it's not on my list. But
Team Abby.
I understand. Team Abby. But yeah, I understand. But I gotta continue Final Fantasy. I'm just saying.
That's what I'm talking about.
Final Fantasy. Listen. Final Fantasy was a game that I heavily criticized as first because I didn't understand the point of battling to make your character stronger. My first Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy VI, and I didn't like it because of the graphics. So I stopped playing it because, it was still 2D sprites and everything.
Yeah.
So then Final Fantasy VII came out, and I was like, let me give this another try. And I liked it because of the story, but I didn't like it because I had to battle.
Oh, yeah.
So it was kind of acquired taste to me. But once I really sat down with the battle system, I'm like, oh, so if I can just, I get better moves. Oh, I get more skills. Oh, so this is why you fight. But in regards to that, man, Final Fantasy has just always been a series that has delivered stories.
Yes.
Some stories that I love more than others. Some stories that I really wish never happened. Final Fantasy 13. But
I actually like Lightning. I don't know how I feel about what's his name, Sazu.
the next Saz,
Yeah.
he was cool, but
He was
but did 13-2 have to happen? No.
I ain't say nothing about
Did
all
Lightning
that.
Returns have to happen? No.
I didn't say nothing about that either.
But it's just always been a consistent, in my opinion, consistent and give you something different. Hopefully they deliver with this next iteration. A lot of people seem to be upset that it's going more to the action realm and not going back to traditional roots. I'm not too disappointed in that. Even though Final Fantasy 15 wasn't one of my favorites, I still love the battle system, even though it was like kind of dry at times. The DLC did kind of help it flesh out, even though the ending was rushed and everything like that. But I still have faith in Square because they always, like I commented on before, just making living, breathing worlds that you just love to invest yourself in. So Final Fantasy for sure, no doubt.
Yes, and shout out to the soundtracks.
Oh yes,
Man.
music.
Iconic. But the game I forgot was previously was God of War series.
Okay,
Man,
that's great.
That God of War was so dope. I remember I think it was like high school, after high school, Sir Django just let me borrow the game. He's like, you gotta play this game. I'm like, all right, whatever. But I think it was the first God of War. Kind of gory, really dope. Number 2, they stepped it up. The story mode, amazing. And now the newest God of Wars, I'm so invested. I didn't play the game. I know.
Boy.
I didn't play the game, but I watched it, and it was stunning. I need to play it. I have it on my PlayStation. Haven't played it yet, But it's like one of the top games. I already know it's amazing. I already seen a lot of it.
Play it on PS5 when the PS5 come out.
I may spoil myself and do that.
Yeah.
And
Hopefully
I can't
it
wait.
gets 60 frames a second.
It will, because they'll have the PS4 Pro enhancements, so he'll be able to play it in 60 frames.
I thought it still plays 30 on Pro.
60. Okay. Looks beautiful.
Well, now I can spoil myself. You know what I'm saying? And I know the new one's coming out, and I think they're introducing Thor in the newest one. So I'm all into
Norse
this
mythology. So
What?
Yes.
I was into that. My family was really big into that, like Zeus and all the other stuff growing up. So I heard a lot of stories about it. So God of War kind of gave me that connection. It was like their own little version of it. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was executed very well. So shout out to that.
all right, man. So number 1 on my list, man, it is the only video game that you can look to and you yourself have a hard time even considering what the hell they should do next because they think of absolutely everything. These guys have both mentioned it already. Grand Theft Auto is the best video game series, period. I will not debate anybody on that matter.
Ooh.
I mean, it's just not close.
Not close.
When Grand Theft Auto 3 came out, it was ridiculous. It was like the world got flipped on its head. Like you said, people were just like, bro, that was the reason why I bought the game. And it wasn't on no teenage pervert shit. I was just at the store because it was just like, most video games, you're like, you can pretty much do a lot in video games. But the dude was like, bro, you can pick up prostitutes. I was like, bro, you can pick up prostitutes? He's like, you can pick up prostitutes. I purchased the game, and I didn't even have a PS2, okay? And it was just like, it wasn't like I was just blown away at the fact that you can pick up prostitutes. It's just like, who would think of putting that in a video game?
It's amazing, man.
And it give you your health back.
Yeah.
Like real life.
You can get your money back, too, if you wanted to.
You can get your money back. And that was amazing to me. Because I was just like, yo, this is a game where you really get to make the choices. You go to jail. They take your guns away from you.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And then you can go start shooting shit up again. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can do whatever you wanted. You can go, if you were looking for a specific car, you can take it. Every radio station was on point, like you said. They killed the radio stations. I've learned about so much music thanks to them. I'm a fan of Royce of 5'9", thanks to Grand Theft Auto.
Shout out.
Flash Radio, the Scarface soundtrack.
Flash Radio?
Yeah. And it's hard to even put Grand Theft Autos in order because all of the games are so solid. People say 4 was a step back. I disagree. The Liberty City stories is crazy. Vice City stories where you get to use Lance. Like, those
Lance.
games are so fun. Bro, when I turn on Vice City, and I remember you walk outside as a car, as soon as you open the car door, the first song that plays is Michael Jackson, Billie Jean.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember I just stopped and danced for like 5. I didn't even play. What other game, bro? I was doing drive-bys playing Ralph Tresvant's Sensitivity in Grand Theft Auto. Like, where can you do that at? Do a drive-by listening to Sensitivity.
Can't do it.
The things that we love for video games.
You had a whole mission where you get high burning down a weed field and your screen really gets all blurry and
that's
it's
right.
hard for you to move around and you hear the cops coming in the background. You had multiple different girlfriends. Some of them hated you if you were too skinny, too fat. You know what I'm saying? Like there was so much.
Shout out
You
to
had the whole
dancers.
mission where you had to go to the sex store and buy the dominatrix outfit and show up at the girlfriend's house to get the key to the casino. You remember that?
You see how I made my critique of GTA was on the details. He's telling you the
I'm
details.
just trying to tell you,
Sad.
like, who thinks of these things? You can go to the dominatrix store.
Yeah.
Like, what can't you do in the
You
game?
can also buy your own properties. You could buy
Exactly.
homes and everything. You can buy your own cars. Yeah.
You
Go
can
to the
customize
club.
the cars.
You can
You can
customize your
purchase the
cars.
club. You can open up a weed
There's
store.
more than killing and
You can
prostitution.
go collect
Just
money.
want to let y'all
Yo.
know.
It made you think business. Like this game was crazy.
You could actually race, street racing.
Oh, you
but it's another form of the entertainment.
Man, they had gang wars.
You keep going to the
I'm
ruthless
saying,
shit.
though.
Bro, that's the fun
I'm
stuff.
saying, though.
Hitting the gym. You go to the gym, bro.
You can ride a bicycle.
You can ride a bike, but you can go to the gym, bro.
You can, but
And you
but
actually
just like the
get
other
diesel,
gym.
and you actually lose weight.
He
too.
didn't follow up with me 1080p. See, I said you can ride a bike. I was expecting to say you can do a drive-by on the bike.
You
But
can.
didn't say
Can't do that.
You can, but that's not advised because the ballers will light that ass up. The ballers do not play. As soon as you shoot one bullet, they shooting 1,000.
Oh my god.
I love that game, man.
Love it. And quick shout out to the gym, because just like the gym in real life, you start going for a little bit, get a little bit of muscles, you eventually stop. You know what I'm saying?
You lose it quick.
You
You lose it quick. And if you eat too much fast food, you get fat. Like, I was just like, yo, this game is real. This game is real. This shit is raw. This shit is authentic.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you.
I'm lost. All right, so if I had a number one on this list, it'll be my number one for just this list we're putting. This would be close to my number one all time.
So Grand Theft Auto won't be
Franchise.
your number one.
No.
You tripping.
If you've been paying attention to my list, you see that I enjoy world building. I enjoy, universes being created, create characters. I enjoy action, sci-fi-ness, and one of those franchises that got all of those wrapped into one
Command and Conquer.
complete package that got all RPG, action, adventure, and everything into Fable. What the hell? What I look like? Hold on. Pause. Fable?
Fable.
I'm glad you're saying Fable.
Who would bring up Fable as the top franchise in gaming history? Not me.
You might get canceled by some
Woo!
people.
But Mass Effect is
wow.
one of the greatest series of gaming history of all time.
I haven't even played the game.
Mass Effect is one of the greatest gaming series of all time. You have a game that takes your decisions from not just part one, not just from part two, and make them all matter in part three.
I heard it didn't really, really matter.
Okay, we got the, controversial ending, but the pivotal game was Mass Effect 2 because your choices in one directly affected the beginning, middle, and end of part two. And the characters in the world, not only you can make your own character and, create his background, his abilities, and everything like that, but the squad mates that you got to choose in that game each had a rich background and history. The RPG aspects of the game were amazing to the point where I played I want to say 6 times. I beat it 6 times. I got every. If I still have my old Xbox 360 gamer tag, I'll show you the achievement list. I got damn near every achievement in that game, and it was just so fun finding multiple ways that the story can fan out because it was just so interesting to have developers create a world that could go in so many different ways. And I just love how iconic the series is. I can't wait for this remaster that they have not announced yet come out. Even though it's been rumored, it's coming out because I've been waiting to dive into the game again. I wasn't the biggest fan of Andromeda. I never finished it just because it was a step low for the series. But they still capitalized on the look and feel of what I loved about the universe that they made, man. And anytime you have a game that opens with one of your commanding officers being Keith David, it's a win for me.
Okay. It's a win.
It's a win. Shout out to Captain Anderson, Keith David. But yeah, man, Mass Effect is one of the top gaming franchises in my opinion.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. I gotta play that game, man.
In his opinion.
That shit is trash.
No, it is not. And I'll argue that.
Well, I personally would say Grand Theft Auto is probably my favorite, but I do want to add this to a close second. One of the games that will take your entire life if you let it, Skyrim.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Elder
saying?
Scrolls?
Elder Scrolls type of that Elder Scrolls vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I always played a warrior because in my heart, I'm a warrior. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't with being an elf or a mage and none of that other good stuff. You know, but I did like the aspect of being able to travel and kind of dive into that. It's not Dungeon and Dragon type of world, but you know, fantasy world. You know, get your own swords, all this other cool stuff.
I beat that 6 times as well.
I'm telling you, it's dope. The scenery is nice.
I have like
interactions.
300 hours in that game.
And I dabbled on the first one. Spent a lot of time on that game, and I regret it looking back. I put a lot of hours in that game, but it's so engaging, and they do a good job with those world type of building games. So shout out to Skyrim or Elder Scrolls.
Okay, man, that was our top 10 list. I'd like to see in the comments what you guys feel about our comments. You know, hit us over on Instagram. Let us know whose lists that y'all rocking with or what games are in the wrong spots and everything like that.
Yes.
Anything else, man? All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.